just awakened from the sea when he discovered something bizarre. There was a large hole in his palm. It was clearly a scar from a gunshot wound, yet the man felt no pain whatsoever. When he returned home, he discovered another bullet wound scar on his chest, identical to the one on his hand, and again, completely painless. The strange occurrence filled the man with fear, so he rushed to the hospital, frantically asking a nurse to find him a doctor immediately. Following protocol, he had to register first. As the two argued, a doctor behind them called out the man's name. It turned out he had once been the attending physician for the man's father. The two then went to a room where the man showed the wounds on his hand and chest. This scene left Simon completely bewildered. Such severe injuries should have been fatal. Even more bizarre was that the heart monitor showed nothing but a flat line, meaning the man had no heartbeat at this very moment. The man also found it incomprehensible. How could he be alive without a heartbeat? He immediately questioned whether the machine was malfunctioning, but Simon said he couldn't provide an explanation. Strangely, Simon wanted to study the man's body, which directly enraged the man, and he quickly left the hospital. However, after returning home, he suddenly sensed something moving inside his body, though the feeling quickly disappeared. At that moment, the man picked up tweezers and inserted them into the bullet hole, soon extracting the bullet. He then bandaged his wound properly. Recalling everything that happened the night before, he remembered he was a police officer. A petty criminal had given him some money and asked if there would be any surprise inspections recently. After taking the money, the man told him there were no upcoming inspections. Just then, the man noticed a figure in the distance. It appeared someone was strangling another person. He hurried closer and shouted. Hearing the commotion, the attacker turned and ran. When the man gave chase, he found the person on the ground was already dead. The man continued pursuing until he reached the end of a bridge, where the killer could only hide behind a pillar. As the man approached the pillar while trying to negotiate, the killer suddenly knocked him down, shot him directly, and threw him into the sea. Suddenly, a phone ring awakened the man from his memories. The caller was the doctor, hoping the man would cooperate with his research and promising to keep everything confidential. But the man hung up immediately. He then called his colleagues to report the murder he had witnessed the night before. However, when everyone arrived at the scene, they found no body whatsoever. His colleagues even began to suspect the man was lying. If he had discovered the victim and the masked man last night, why hadn't he called for help immediately? The man tried desperately to explain what he had seen. Suddenly, he began to lose consciousness, and his appearance started becoming grotesque. Fortunately, his colleagues' calls brought him back to awareness. While no one was paying attention, he pulled out the bullet he had extracted from his chest and placed it in a gap in the railing. He then called everyone over, claiming he had made a discovery. This was the only way he could fabricate evidence. When the man returned home, he was extremely hungry. After his wife prepared a table full of food, an even more bizarre scene unfolded. The man said nothing and began frantically stuffing food into his mouth, eating voraciously. His frenzied eating stunned his family. Finally, he simply grabbed the entire pot. But after swallowing the last bite, all the food in his stomach came pouring back out, terrifying his family. Realizing something was increasingly wrong with him, the man decided to sleep in the living room that night. When his daughter said goodnight, the man suddenly hugged her tightly until she cried out in pain, only then releasing her. The man regained his senses and told his daughter not to tell her mother, urging her to go to sleep quickly. He then hurried to find the doctor. Simon said that at the moment he hugged his daughter, he seemed to feel some beast inside his body trying to take control. He wanted to know what was happening to him, but Simon showed no surprise whatsoever. Simon said he had his methods and led the man to the basement, which contained a hidden laboratory. He needed to observe the man for 24 hours, but the man quickly refused outright. Just then, a familiar girl called for the man's help. The man rushed to the woman's address and immediately saw a girl lying on the floor. He could tell at a glance that she had overdosed. At that moment, a man emerged from behind. It was the petty criminal he had encountered the night before. It turned out that just moments ago, police had conducted a surprise inspection at the port, arresting the refugees they had just smuggled in. The criminal had barely escaped capture. Speaking angrily, he pulled out a small knife and stabbed it into the man's side. Unexpectedly, this directly triggered the man's transformation into a monster. In an instant, he changed appearance and bit the criminal, who immediately fled. After a moment, the man returned to his normal appearance. He went back to the seaside where he had awakened yesterday, hoping to find some clues there. Suddenly, his palm became extremely itchy. He quickly unwrapped the bandage to examine it and was shocked to discover that his palm had completely healed. Seeing this, the man actually began to laugh. But when the masked man removed his mask, even I was stunned. It was Dr. Simon. What role was he really playing, and what kind of conspiracy was he orchestrating?